think he got out of the experience of playing and starting, and how beneficial was that for him?
Yeah, well, the live reps, right, in that type of environment, obviously beneficial. The leadership opportunities, to be out there and be in command, in a game and having to battle through some adversities and making adjustments in the course of a game. I mean, you can't substitute that experience that he received over those 3 weeks.
And have you seen a difference in him watching film now? He said that, it's one thing to watch video, it's another thing to live it, and that maybe he picks up more now when he's watching video.
Like you said, and that's part of a maturation of any freshman and anybody in football or sports in general. A lot of times kids, because even my own 13-year-old, they watch video, they watch themselves. But now he's learning to watch video to understand defenses and like big picture, as opposed to just watching him run around and throw it. Like, there's a reason to study the film and get tips to the test for Saturday based on what the opponent does. And now you're able to pre-snap, play faster, and eliminate things. And that's the key thing for the quarterback. The more you can eliminate pre-snap, the more effective you're going to be as a quarterback.
What's been his mindset or his approach since going back to being the backup? It's
been great. I mean, because we're rotating them, exclusively all throughout the week, just because each week's been a little bit of unknowns with Musket. So he's grown in that approach, understanding like, not only have I played 3 games, I'm one play away from playing again. So it's been really good.
And you had mentioned when I asked you after NC State on the 3rd and 1 about being in the shotgun. Calandria hadn't had reps. Then you had Musket. I know he had the shoulder deal. Where were you at with some of those calls?
Yeah, unfortunately we had a penalty in that situation, and there's some things obviously we got to prove offensively, and our short yardage has not been very good this year. So, and we've done a variety of things, and you look across pro football, college football, right? The rules allow you to do some things that you weren't able to do. So let's take advantage of the rules, and that's what we was going to do there with the QB sneak deal, and we've repped it with both guys the last couple of weeks, so there's comfortability in doing that. So
And then the one where you gave it to Malik wide, was that just a chance to get to the perimeter?
Chance to get to a perimeter. Their guy actually, he made a good play. On it, we had the angles, we had the numbers, and unfortunately, we didn't execute it.
With Mike Collins, where's he grown the most on the field since last season? You see him in pass protection a lot.
I tell you, that and his consistency and reliability, but Mike's becoming a more vocal guy for us on the practice field than he had been in the past. And, accountability is a big thing in football, and more guys are more accountable, not only to themselves, to their teammates, right? It creates a culture of unity, and offense takes all 11 guys, executing to put up some points. So I think he's grown in just his leadership, and he's grown in just consistency in all facets of the game.
Nate Lynn has 5.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles for the Tribe defensive line. What's the plan specifically on the right side of the offensive line to slow him down a little bit?
Blocking? No. But no, all seriously, their 2 defensive ends are really good. They're FBS caliber players. And you turn on the film, there's nobody on our team that should look at William & Mary and take anybody lightly, right? They're top ranked defensive in the FCS. They've been in the playoffs. They've done a hell of a job, and those 2 guys are good players. So, we have to help our tackles, right? We got to move the pocket. We got to chip. We got to do all kinds of things, and not just this week, but just moving forward. And we've done it, in the Maryland game, and got to get back to it, because that's another red flag, right? We're allowing too many sacks, and there's a lot of pieces tied into that, right? Sacks are not just on the O-line, right? It's the running back's protection. It's the receivers, right? Not getting to the right depth. So, unfortunately, there's a lot of factors in that. But yes, we got to address the right tackle situation as well.
Tony was talking in the press conference this week about having these players not going for the home run play every week. How do you kind of help them get that mindset when they just search for a win now? Yeah, it's just do your job, right? Execute the job, and the big plays come, and that's really truthfully what happens. And, the first, sounds like a broken record a little bit, but first couple drives, like even on Saturday, right, we converted a 3rd down, didn't have any pre-snap penalties, didn't do anything that hurt us. And then as the game went on, different situations where we leave a guy unblocked, or a pre-snap penalty, and we just got to eliminate those mistakes that are costing UVA. And talking to the guys, we all want to win, right? But we can't press, because as soon as we start pressing, then we get very rigid and tight, and that mistake happens a little bit more frequently because you're really trying not to do it, but it happens. I'm trying to make the perfect play call, but I may make a bad play call.
just make the play, just execute the play, because we all want to win. We're trying to find ways to find an edge, to move the ball, to score points, and get a W.
It seems like Furnish has struggled, not just penalties, but with the blocking and play. Where is he at, and is there competition at that spot?
There is competition at that spot. I mean, we have to look at everything as to what is slowing us down or deterring us from being consistent on the field from drive to drive and scoring points. Because when we do it right, we have really good drives and create explosive plays, regardless of who we're playing. We've shown that. And it's just building that where, hey, instead of it being, I'm just throwing out a number, 60% of the game, let's 80%, right? 85%. That's winning football. We ask our guys to grade out each week at 85%. So offensively, we execute at 85%, then we probably increase our chances of outscoring our opponent, and that's our job as the offense.
It's another defense that loads the box and challenges you.
It is. It is. They have 8 guys up there in the picture, sometimes 9, and we can't go out there and throw it 70 times and expect to win. That's not complimentary football. So we have to look at some things that we've done in the past run game wise. Is it scheme? Is it putting the guys in a bad spot? Is it poor execution? And now kind of, reassess and look at what gives us the best opportunity to go out and effectively run the ball against William & Mary, right, to help our offense, to help our defense, right, and to play complementary football. But at the same time, we know we want to be explosive, right? And I think that showed up against Boston College, where, hey, they played more too-high safety. We hadn't been successful running the football. Let's eliminate the big pass plays, right? And so we got to show people that we are effective at running the football to get them back down into an 8-man box so we can take some shots down the field. So it all ties together.
Has Stevens been your most consistent offensive lineman?
He has, and Boley has, those 2 guys, yep.
The rest of the group?
Noah Jones has done a good job as well. Unfortunately, the right side's been a little inconsistent, and it's shown, and everybody can see that. So.
Obviously, you guys are pretty hungry for a win, especially as you get into conference play after this. How do you make sure guys just don't go into this with a do-or-die mentality?
Yeah, and that's us as coaches. That's part of our tutelage and mentoring and just talking through the deal and understand, hey, just win the day, right? Tuesday was the first quarter. Today's the second quarter. Thursday's the third quarter, Friday. Just talk about different things because, we've won the first quarter, we won the fourth quarter, we won the middle 8. Let's just put it all together, build on that, get into the bye, get our bodies back healthy, and then the rest of it takes care of itself. But right now the focus obviously is on, what can we do to put our guys in the best position for them to go out and execute to outscore William & Mary.
One more on Calandria. Was there a common theme in the interceptions? A mistake he was making over, or were they different scenarios?
Different scenario. No, not different scenarios. I mean, the Maryland game, I just think it snowballed on him because he wanted to try to make a play and make up for the first interception, because the second one, that look, he knew he shouldn't have thrown it to the boundary with the guy dropping. Next week was NC State. I mean, the first one I can't fault him. Balls down the field. The DB made a great tip, and then the second one he knows, right? And that's where the growth has to happen, because the second interception at North Carolina State was the first interception at Maryland, where we're throwing the ball, in the red zone. We got opportunity for points. All right, use your legs in that situation because you've shown it. Again, just escape, keep us ahead of the chains, give us another down to play. So if he's, presented that opportunity again, hopefully we learn for a third time's a charm, right? So,
how's Malachi developed?
Yep, Malachi's developed and done a good job, and I think he can make some more 50-50 balls for us down the field, and he's shown the ability to do that. I want to see Malachi grow in his vocal leadership because he's a big stature, right? But he's a great kid, very quiet, but he's earned the respect of his teammates because he does work. Malachi's one of our hardest workers out here. Smart kid, does everything you ask him to do. Now take that and pull some other guys along with you as being a leader.
Has Malik Washington maybe helped his own NFL draft stock with what he's done the first?
When you look at him comparable to his time at Northwestern, I would have to say yes, he has. In the ACC, where it's predominantly had receivers produce a lot of numbers, and he's putting himself, in that conversation as one of the top guys in the conference. And a lot of that is his work ethic. He's a good catcher of the football, You know, he breaks tackles, built like a running back kind of deal. So I would certainly think he's helped himself in that regard. Yeah.
Saturday will be a matchup of two African-American head coaches. There was a time that was really rare. It's become a little more common. For you, as an assistant coming up, is that important? Is it significant?
You know, it's important just to the landscape of athletics and college football from that regard. But, you know, Coach London's had a long-time career and has done a great job where he's been. You know, but Coach Elliott, we got to help Coach Elliott as assistant coaches, you know, players, staff, because he's one of the best human beings in this game, and he deserves wins. This program deserves wins, and our job as assistant coaches to support him and get our guys in the best position to go win the game.
Do you sense that it's important to him to encourage and support African-American assistant coaches?
You know, for Coach Elliott, it's not just yes, but to support and encourage anyone. I mean, we have probably as many females in our organization as a lot of institutions. So it's just growing the game of football amongst all people. And really, you know, as he talked about building a model program and building championship men or women in our program, it's just people who do things the right way, who are respectful, accountable, appreciative, and go about their life that way.
Malachi and Malik are, you know, two of your biggest targets, but couldn't be more different in size and stature. How have they kind of complemented this offense in different ways?
Well, it's helped because, you know, Malachi's predominantly been into the boundary, right, and Malik's predominantly to the field. So if defenses try to overload, take away Malachi, then obviously Malik's there. But what we need offensively, whether it's through the tight ends or a third receiver, to kind of balance this thing out. Because, you know, you're in the 5 weeks, in the 6 weeks, you build some tendencies in that regard. And saw a little bit of it last week with Boston College and some of the things they did coverage-wise, but it still allowed Malik to catch how many balls he had. You know, Malachi's numbers wasn't where it had been in prior weeks, but whether Sackett Wood, Grant Mish, Gerald Wilson, Jaden Gibson, like we've been telling these guys, somebody has to step up and be a third piece in the passing game for us.
We're going to let Coach